Aguerd done, followed by Areola. Centre back and then goalkeeper, both done. So what's next for West Ham United? That is the big question, isn't it? Not just who, but what. What position are we going for? Because we're strongly linked with strikers. Broha and Nesri. I guess you could class Danjuma as a striker because of the position he played for Villarreal last season. Linked to some left wingers. Danjuma fits that as well. Keane, Lewis Potter. Centre midfield was believed to be a bit of a priority as well. James Ward-Prowse, then more recently the likes of Tielemans and John McGinn. And then we've often had the left backs as well. And this video is about left backs because we're being linked to them as well. Now I had a bit of a worry that Aguerd was sort of domino one and we were going to see a domino effect at West Ham United. You get the main guy in, Ariola's a bit of a given, but then you move on to the next one and the next one and the next one because you then know how much money you've got left over from that signing to go on to the next one. Now that's okay if you're only signing 2 or 3 players, but when you're still wanting to sign a further, possibly further 4 or further 5 players according to reports for David Moyes, that's a lot of players, and if there is a domino effect, the last guy in is going to be quite late on in the window. Now that's perhaps not necessarily a bad thing or anything to worry too much about, but the season starts, pre-season's underway now, the season starts at the very start of August, you ideally want them in for then. And then the loan signings or any squad depth being late on the window, you don't mind that when you're just keeping your eye out for any bargains that may crop up. But we're not after bargains, and I still think there'll be 1 or 2 sort of cheaper alternatives that we sign or a couple of loan signings just to fill the squad up. But when we go back to January, when David Moyes spoke about potential signings, he said, I don't want anybody that's going to come in that isn't already better than what we've got. Now that's ideal. That's when you live in an ideal world, which we don't do. That is the most basic strategy, the best strategy, that you want to sign players that's going to take the positions of those currently in the squad. Like Aguerd, for example, you would imagine he's going to take Craig Dawson's place. He's going to go in and sit next to Kurt Zouma on match day 1. That's what you want. Of course, there's all slight differences, so like Broha, who'd probably be a bit of an understudy to Antonio and ideally become the striker long term. So if Moyes is going after these sort of important players, big players, good players that's going to go straight into the 11 or certainly be knocking on the door of it, we don't really want to be signing them late on in the window. You want to get them done ASAP. And these rumours give me a little bit of optimism and confidence actually, because I know they're only rumours, but the rumours haven't been too bad so far, have they? I mean, Areola was a little bit of a given, wasn't it? But in regards to Aguerd, the rumours were almost precise from start to finish when we were going to sign him, when the announcement was going to be, the price tag, when his medical was, all the rumours were there. And so I don't think you can be too dismissive of all of them. You can with most of them, of course. But the rumours are so varied in regards to what position we're after. It is possible that we are actually after a left back, a centre midfielder and a striker, and I say them 3. The left wing, I'm not too convinced we're after a left winger just yet. I think that might be the position that we wait till later on in the window for. But certainly striker, centre midfielder and left back, it sounds like we are going after players, plural, at the minute and in a variety of positions. And this is getting me a little bit excited, I must confess. I'm trying to keep my lid on it because there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of players still to be signed, a lot of quality is still needed in this window. But we're certainly moving in the right direction. And in regards to the left backs, I was worried that was one position that might sort of be sacrificed, if you want, so we could spend the money elsewhere. But the reports in the last 24 hours really encouraged me because of the sources to 2 different reports for 2 different players, but they're both left backs, and I quite like the sources. So let's take a look at them. It's a bit of a transfer rumour show, this one, believe it or not. The pink book's out, but you know, a big introduction for you. So let's start with the first one. Let's actually start with the left back that was on his way to Manchester United, Tyrell Malacia. I'm not 100% sure how you pronounce it. From Feyenoord, the left back from there. When I did my left back wish list video, a couple of people had mentioned him previously, so I stuck him in there, but I can't say I've ever really seen him play. But he's on his way to Man United for 12-15 million. So we're not going to get him. But the reason I'm mentioning him is last night Fabrizio Romano, who I think he's a really good source. He stated that West Ham tried to hijack this deal, that we went in last minute and we were trying to get him from under Manchester United's noses. Now that failed. We haven't got him. It didn't work. But what that did do was confirm that we were prepared to spend 12-15 million on a left back. And that's encouraging. Now I know a lot of people say, well, I don't believe these rumours. Well, I understand that. I do believe this because it's Fabrizio Romano. He gets a little bit, some doubters, if you like, saying, oh, he only says stuff that's obvious, he only says stuff that's already happened, so on and so forth. Well, if that's the case, that must mean that this is true. If he doesn't necessarily claim anything that's sort of a little bit left of field or anything new, then that must make this true, right? Maybe not, but I believe him. I believe him because it's Fabrizio Romano. So this is encouraging. Now we move on to the next left back, and that's Owen Wijndal, who is at PSV, likely to join Ajax. And when I say likely, it's expected he's going to join Ajax. Now, some reports in the last week or so that Ajax are split on him. His wage demands are really high, so they're not too keen on it. They've got alternatives targets if they want to move on to another left back target. I do wonder if one of those alternatives though is on his way to Old Trafford, but he's not signed for Ajax just yet. There's other reports that Ajax are simply waiting for Sebastian Haller to go to Dortmund and the money to come in, and then they'll use that money to go get him. Other reports suggest that Ajax's main priority at the minute is getting Bergwijn from Spurs. That's obviously going to cost a lot of money. He's the priority, and then sort of if there's any leftover lolly, then we'll go and get Wijndal. So the move to Ajax is not as straightforward as it perhaps seemed a week or so ago. And this morning, The Athletic, another good source, The Athletic are reporting that West Ham are interested in him, that West Ham want him, and that we could be bidding for him as well. And again, Athletics are good, so maybe not as good as Fabrizio. I do think they've got one or two things wrong in the past, but when it came to sort of our takeover from Kretinsky, they were the ones leading with that report. So they were the first ones to name Daniel Kretinsky as the investor. So they do have good sources, Athletic. I think they're a really good publication, actually. So they're reporting our interest in Owen Wijndal. Now, even if you only believe one of these, what it does do is it suggests that West Ham are prepared to spend around about 15 million on the left back. And I find that encouraging, I'll be honest with you. Now there's another left back. There's another one. There's three left backs. That's two of them. Before I do the third one, this video is sponsored by the One Football app, the best place to keep up to date with all your latest transfer rumours, including news. There's been a contract signed at West Ham United. That was on One Football just before I started recording this. Had a little look and seen that somebody signed a new deal at West Ham. We'll talk about him in a couple of minutes. The best place to get it is by downloading the link in the description. Please do use that so they know you've come from Hammers Chat. It's completely free. Not one penny. You don't even need to sign up. There's no sign ups. You just download it. It asks you your favourite club. You click it once. Sorted. That's it. The next time you load out, click profile, click your West Ham badge, and there's all the news you need. Just scroll. There it is. Click on the bits you want to read. Don't click on the ones that you don't wish to read. But if you're not into West Ham, it doesn't matter. Your team probably features on there as well as the competition that you're most interested in. I use it for keeping up to date with all the big news around the Premier League as well. So when I go on it, I'll click Premier League and I can see that Chelsea are trying to sign Rafinha, that Jesus is down at Arsenal for his medical, that Manchester United are signing this player that I can't pronounce from Feyenoord as well. So One Football app, download it, link in description. Maehle, we've discussed him before, haven't we? The Danish and Atalanta, I was going to say right back, left back. You can play either or very comfortably. Very much like Cancelo does for Manchester City. Not ability wise, style wise. Right footed, can play left back. Now I know that would throw up an immediate concern. Well, does it work having a right footer playing left back? I mean, Ben Johnson's been good. And I know we sacrifice a little bit in the final third. We lose a little bit in the final third when Ben Johnson plays left back. But we also lose it when he plays right back. He's just a little bit iffy in the final third, that's all. It's not to do with the fact he's right footed, it's to do with his ability in the last third of the pitch. I love Maehle. I think he's a fantastic player. Like I said, when Scotland have played Denmark a lot in the last couple of years, whenever we have, he's ripped us to pieces. And I know it's not difficult, I know, we saw Yarmouth, I know, but I do think he's a talented player. Atalanta as well, not a difficult club to try and get him from, I don't think. The rumoured price tag is 16 million. Again, it's in the ballpark. It's the same price bracket, roughly, as the two Dutch left backs that we've just discussed as well. So everything's sort of suggesting that we're in the market for a left back for around about £15 million. I think with Maehle, usually part of the thing I would throw at you right now is, oh, he's versatile, he can play right or left. But we don't necessarily need that. We've got Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson can also play left or right. So while as much as I like him, I do wonder if there's better fits out there. I think I'd prefer a more traditional left back than Maehle. However, I guess it comes down to what David Moyes wants to do next season in terms of tactics. If he sees 3 at the back as being something we will do regularly, then I think Maehle would be a really good fit for being able to play left wing back, because he's superb when he plays on the wing back for Denmark. Sometimes on the right, sometimes on the left. It depends who else is available and who else is in form. So if Moyes wishes to use wing backs frequently next season, I think he'd be a very astute purchase. But if Moyes is committed to 4 at the back, we've got our way, we're going to play our way regardless of who we're up against, then I'd probably be more inclined to see a bit more of a traditional left back. Now we've got one more rumoured transfer incoming. Before we do him, we've got to talk about 3 West Ham players. One player definitely leaving, one player possibly leaving, and one player won't be leaving, and that is Nathan Trott. The club have announced today that he has signed a contract extension, a 2-year deal for him. I think this is good news all round. Obviously he was out on loan last season over in France, back at West Ham, contract expiring this summer. 2-year contract extension. It'll be interesting to see what we do. I'm almost intrigued a little bit as to what the game plan is with the goalkeepers in regards to Nathan Trott and then Darren Randolph. Because what we're going to do with Trott, there's 2 options. We'll loan him out, so we'll give him out goes away somewhere for a season. We'll have a real good look at him, and then he comes back next summer. Either we sell him or we keep him around, and he's still got a year to go in his contract. Is he the man that we're sort of expecting to take over from Lucas Fabianski next summer when his contract expires in 12 months' time? We'll have to wait and see. Or are we simply going to keep him around? Is he part of the plans for next season? Now, we've obviously had 4 goalkeepers over the last year. Does Moyes want 4 senior goalkeepers? Will Trott be a senior keeper? So it'll be Fabianski, Areola, Randolph and Trott. Or was it just like out of convenience, almost out of sentimentality to keep Martin on for that long? Is Darren Randolph set to leave this summer? Well, apparently we're open to offers for him. He's one of the players we'd like to move on. In January, I believe Darren Randolph wanted to leave, but we said no, that the club blocked Darren Randolph for leaving. So if he wanted to leave in January, he's definitely going to want to leave in the summer, isn't he? Go somewhere else, get a longer contract, get more minutes under his belt, and he's good enough to be playing at a high standard of football. Maybe not the Premier League, but certainly the Championship. So could Randolph be off ski in the summer, and then Nathan Trott is his replacement? Now, the one thing that would make sense about this is not just Trott's age, but the fact that he's homegrown. Now, not just homegrown, but he's also club trained. Because when we play the European football, when it comes to registering our squad for the Europa Conference League, you need 8 homegrown players that have been trained by English FA clubs. That's fine. We've got them. That's okay. But out of those 8, 4 of them need to be sort of West Ham club trained. So the likes of Jared Bowen, Michael Antonio and Creswell, they're all FA trained but not West Ham trained. So who we got at the minute? We've got Declan Rice, we've got Ben Johnson, Connor Coventry, should we keep him around? We might have Longello, we'll keep him around as well because they both need registered due to their ages. But if one of them isn't part of the squad next season, we're a man down. Nathan Trott would tick that box. That would allow us to have a full squad of 25. If we only have 3 players, it's not the end of the world. It just means you're only allowed to register 24 players instead of 25 players in your squad. So it seems a little bit silly. So I do wonder if the plans to keep Trott at West Ham next season and offload Darren Randolph, and Trott would be our 3rd choice keeper. We probably wouldn't need him. We've got Ariel and Fabianski. It would be unlikely that we need Nathan Trott unless both of them get injured. It's unlikely, isn't it? So I hope that's the plan. I hope the plan is to let Randolph leave and then to use Nathan Trott as the 3rd choice goalkeeper and have a look at him in training and see if he's capable of being sort of Fabianski's replacement next summer as the 2nd choice goalkeeper. Now moving on to Issa Diop. L'Equipe, the French source, has reported that there's progress between the talks between West Ham United and Lyon over the potential signing of Issa Diop. Now this won't come as a surprise to me. When I did the Word video, I sort of spoke about this will be Diop off, and I was surprised at how many people in the comments said, I don't think it will. So it's not a surprise to me, and to be honest with you, I think it just makes sense. I don't think we need 5 senior centre-backs. He's got a decent enough transfer value. I don't think Moyes particularly fancies him as such, so it makes sense to cash in on him while we can. He's only got 1 year to go on his contract. Let's get the money in, and then we can put it back in the kitty, move on, and hopefully pay for a left-back. Sonny Perkins, the Athletic are reporting that Sonny Perkins' last day at West Ham United is tomorrow, Thursday, and on Friday, on the 1st of July, he is out of contract and is no longer contracted to West Ham United. Now, as you may remember, there was a dispute. Me and Gonza were arguing. We're not arguing. Me and Gonza were disagreeing as regards to Sonny Perkins' contract situation at West Ham. Now, it's not Gonzo's fault. It's Clarence Hughes' fault. Clarence Hughes was saying he's still got a further year. It looks like he doesn't have an extra year in his contract, and that this week will be Sonny Perkins' last week as a West Ham United player, and he's set to leave and is expected to join either Leeds or Tottenham, unfortunately. So we'll have to wait and see on that one, but that's what the Athletic are reporting this afternoon. And also Josh Brownhill, the Burnley centre midfielder, would be linked to him again for around about 20 million, which seems a bit chunky. Now, I know I'm rubbish with my valuations this summer, right? But I think 20 million for Josh Brownhill is a little bit bigger than I expected. That's not a phrase I've heard often in my life. But I think it's a bit larger than I thought it would be. I don't know. I had him maybe at 12 million, 15 million at the most. I think he's a decent centre midfielder, but that's it. I think, is he better than... I think he's more suited than Souček in some regards. I think Souček is more suited to some games than Josh Brownhill would be. But it's not necessarily Brownhill as a player that I'm a bit with. It's probably the alternatives we've been linked with. Now that, of course, those rumours aren't necessarily true, so I'm probably just getting my hopes up. Well, I'd really like this midfielder. I don't want Brownhill, I prefer him. Maybe we were never in for that midfielder. So I need to put that to one side, and if that's who Moyes wants, that's who Moyes wants. But I wouldn't be doing cartwheels about it. And like I said, solid Premier League centre midfielder, but that's all. I feel like we need a little bit better than that. I think we've got that at the club, is Souček. Souček is, at worst, a solid Premier League centre midfielder. I just want someone a little bit more, a little bit better. I'm not sure Josh Brownhill is a little bit more or better, to be honest with you. So, yeah, there you go. There's your latest West Ham transfer rumours. Tomorrow will be my strikers wish list video. It was meant to be today. I've even got Charlie's done the thumbnail for it and everything. So when I tell Charlie what today's video is, he's going to be a bit annoyed. He's going to have to make another thumbnail. But it does mean tomorrow he doesn't need to make one. But that will be my video tomorrow. I'm off to record it. I will record it tomorrow. So tomorrow, you think he's wearing the same t-shirt again. That's why I've recorded both videos on the same day. So yeah, so a couple of obvious strikers in there that you definitely know that I fancy. Broha's in there, for example. But there's a couple of curveballs in there, so hopefully you come back tomorrow and check it out. But if you've enjoyed this video, drop a like on it and subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'll catch you tomorrow.